Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right, another reaction here involving the great Nick Saban. Nick, the slave owner Saban. Pure great. The plantation owner Nick Saban. All right. Name of the video is Why Saban Left College Football and Why It's the Greatest Thing He's Ever Done. From Dan Le Batard show. Here we go. Let's go right into it.
So Chris Lowe published an article this week about the inner workings of how Nick Saban left Alabama and they went and hired Kalen DeBoer. It was one of the more interesting articles I've read in a long time because it was like a super in-depth look of just the 48 hours of Nick Saban leaving, how that decision came to be made, plus who were they going to hire. I didn't realize it came down to Mike Norvell and Kalen DeBoer, and it was so close. But I think the thing that was so interesting about this article was Nick Saban was so candid in why he decided to leave. He talked about how after the game, players were, not all his players, but players were more concerned about, hey, am I going to get a starting job next year? How much money are you going to be able to pay me? And then all these little things started to come together where Nick Saban was like, hey, I'm done. And it wasn't necessarily the loss to Michigan. It wasn't necessarily NIL, but he was very open about it being a combination of all these things that made him decide to leave the Alabama job, which is just like very jarring to hear of him being like, the times are changing and I'm just not changing with them anymore.
Oh, but I
saw an equal. Look at this outfit.
Oh,
what's he doing?
When he retired,
what is he doing?
It seemed sudden.
What is he
Everyone
doing?
in sports is allowed to look at that and say, "Hold up."
Is he Willy Wonka?
Deal that within 48 hours he's going to give up the sport and that economy.
He's Willy Wonka
and he's going to be honest on his way out when he talks to Reese Davis.
He was
too old for this. Both of our presidential candidates.
He was directing the stick.
Alabama job is moving.
He's very fond of that stick, apparently.
Yeah.
The most interesting thing to me about the entire career of Nick Saban, and I regret calling him a used car salesman, a snake oil salesman, a vacuum cleaner salesman. When he left,
you got there.
When he left South Florida, I called him a lot of names on television and
a lot of salesman names.
Yes, I mean, look, man, he sold the Dolphins what I thought was a lie because he made a secret deal with Huizenga, and Huizenga told him, if you don't like the pros, you can go back and I'll never criticize you. And he never did. They made that deal, and Nick Saban went and conquered college sports in a way that he couldn't have. I was wrong there, famously, loudly wrong. Play the wrong song real quick as I segue into what I want to say about Nick Saban before I ask Lucy some questions. You're wrong. As wrong as I've ever been, but I will say
cringy. Okay, it's kind of cringy.
Saban has done in his career. I don't think he could do anything better than how he just nailed the exit because holy gets out at the perfect time where he loses all the control.
He's a dude that doesn't get it. That he's like, bro, you're not fucking cool, bro. You're cultivating a culture of like people that are following your lead. Like, nah, man, you're leading them down. That's bad road.
Oh God. All right, let's hear.
Say this guy's last name, Le Batard.
I can see where your mind's going.
I can see where you're going. Yeah, I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Okay, here we go.
Nick Saban has done in his career, I don't think he can do anything better than how he just nailed the exit because holy he gets out at the perfect time where he loses all the control. You still don't think he's bad, and now he could create a broadcasting job that keeps him adjacent enough that he'll be entertaining on television by just being honest about he can be freer, Stugatz, about being honest about how he got out, why he got out, and be a voice that feels like a commissioner for college sports. Might not be interesting, but nailed the landing. Like perfect segue from one career into the next.
He absolutely.
Okay, so this is clearly sarcasm. I would assume. And it's like, yeah.
No, not really. No, not really.
It's not sarcasm. He's not being like, oh, he left at the perfect time for like what? For him to not be able to just dominate college football by getting all the recruits based on whatever means that whatever Nick Saban did to get all the best recruits to go to Alabama. in a kind of abusive system and not have these fucking turnover players that don't get paid. It can suffer fucking career-ending injuries and all that shit.
You got the right time, Jody.
All right, let's hear. Yeah.
Landing, like perfect segue from one career into the next.
That's not sarcasm.
He's going to
What?
be great as a broadcaster. I think there's a sneaky sense of humor in there somewhere with Nick Saban. Hopefully he'll continue to be honest. But you're right. He went out
That's
in the
sarcasm,
perfect
too.
way because he brought a team that many thought was one of his worst teams, and he got them to the college football playoff. But I understand why he's leaving, Dan. At 72 years of age, there are so many changes to that sport. He's lost control.
He also just said in the article, it's just hard to do at this point.
He lost the control. Kids can leave whenever they want.
Oh, guys, though, look, one of the things that's so fascinating about this is that somehow it feels like within 48 hours, Nick Saban.
Dan Lee Wonka.
Within 48 hours, it feels like. Correct me if I'm wrong, if the article had details, Lucy, that I've got wrong here. But in giving over one of the giant power economies in sports, the reason this is perfect, it's like the slow motion walk away from the explosion in the movies, is because right when you think the game might have caught up to him where he doesn't have all of the advantages and the sport has caught up to him because, oh, look at what Texas did very quickly at the perfect time with barely a loss to the national champion. You had the champions beat.
Yes.
Nick Saban says, you know what? The game caught up to me. No, never mind. It's not going to catch up to me. I'm out. I'm not waiting for any more to come to my legacy. I'm getting out at the perfect time for me.
The perfect time would be going out on top, right? You win it and you leave. I mean, he did end on a loss.
Ideal world, yes. But, Chris, he brought a team. Some people say that was his best coaching job ever last year.
I say that.
Right. There you go.
I do think it's funny
It was still all 5 stars.
that
I was praying someone would agree.
with all the raises
For the
that
record-
Nick Saban has gotten.
Is that Nick Young? But all right, sorry. Go ahead.
For the record, in the title of this show, in French or Spanish, it's called The Tard Show.
Okay. I'm so glad I paused.
For the
that.
record.
Here we go. Is that Nick Young? Is that Swaggy P? Who is that? Is Swaggy P? I know it's not Nick Young. I'm just saying. It's a stand-in.
That's the representation he needs on his show.
The representation. So he dresses up like this. Fucking fool. Whatever. All right, here we go.
That
I was
with
praying
all,
someone would agree.
with all the raises that Nick Saban has gotten over the years, that what kind of pushed him out was, oh, these guys make money and it's just a lot of stuff. Like, I want to raise every year, but this starting quarterback wants more money. I can't deal with this.
He never said that, like, paying players was bad, and he specified that when he talked about it. I think it was just the conversations you used to have after a season are no longer the conversations that
Oh,
you're
he
still
stresses
having.
Power
Swaggy.
dynamic is
Yeah,
different.
No,
The
Chris,
power
they weren't
dynamic is different.
devastated by losing. They were talking about where they're going to transfer, where they're going to get NIL money next year. That's stuff that Saban doesn't want to deal with anymore.
Yeah, he even mentioned, like, he hated how the team responded to the loss, throwing helmets, like that. The whole vibe just seemed kind of off for Saban. And from, like, the what this article said, he wasn't really sure. He went on vacation with Miss Terry, and they tried to decide. They didn't. He comes back. It felt like a sort of day of decision where he just kind of woke up and was like, you know what? Today is my last day.
I mean, you can make a mountain out of sarcasm. I think something might have something here. But good God. Okay, so this is gonna lead to something like crazy, right? They're gonna drop some bomb here.
No, not really.
The sarcasm is thick. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. There we go.
Who wouldn't want to retire that way? You just are like, yeah, today.
Ah.
And in a month, I'm gonna be the new
Look at this
person on
hot
game
nerd.
day, and everything is great because I'm the best that's ever done it. What a life!
I think I'm going to start calling my wife Miss Christie.
She's 100% a
I gotta
nerd,
be
and
honest,
she's
I don't
just
think
so
we've had
fire.
in the
I'm
history
in
of
love.
our show a whole lot things more charming than Lucy calling Nick Saban's wife Miss Terry.
That's her name.
I know, and every time you say it, we are delighted. I'm not confused. We knew Miss Terry in town. I believe she told us. We have the audio somewhere of her admitting that he played like the ukulele or what did he play? He played some sort of weird instrument.
Accordion?
Maybe it was the accordion.
Or was that Tom Izzo?
That's
Tom Izzo.
The Tom Izzo as well. Miss Terry told us.
How many
that
people
Nick
are in this
Saban
fucking room?
revealed that as breaking
He
news.
got money, bro.
The accordion really
It's like
had
fucking
moments,
10
huh?
fucking.
I feel like everyone was taking accordion lessons.
You know what? Never mind.
in the
She's
60s
here.
and 70s. Dan, did you
I'm
ever
happy.
take accordion lessons?
I did not. But Chris has found this sound that we wrestled away from ESPN.
Oh, my husband?
Yes. When you're on the piano and
he
he's
won't be too happy if I tell you this, but as a young man, he took accordion lessons.
Okay.
some dirt.
Like beer barrel polka, that kind of thing.
So he comes in. So you're banging on the piano. The 19-year-old Nicholas is on the guitar, and he's coming in with a crappy accordion. Terry, how lame is that?
The kid I babysit calls me Miss Lucy, and oh my God, the feeling I get, it is awesome.
The part that I meant actually
No.
that
It's green-haired
is the most
leftist.
fascinating about
Nah,
this isn't
you
him
get the
getting
other
out
one.
perfect.
What?
You get the other one.
What are you talking about?
So what's the other? What's the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
thing?
what are you talking about?
Oh, you see, I told you.
What?
You can't compare her to the other one. That's the real hot nerd.
Hey, freedom of choice.
Because the
They'll pick
game
me.
has caught up to him. It's because all of the things that Chris Cody is articulating there. Which
I
is-
stand for women's rights, Anthony.
So you mean to tell me that at the very end, one of the great winners of all time who somehow built something stronger than what USC built in football with Pete Carroll or the University of Miami built,
Than anyone has ever built.
than anyone has ever built at the place, okay, because this is big money we're talking about in college football. That place doesn't have any preordained right to be great at football because everybody wants to live there. Nick Saban built something when he had all the power and all the money that no one else can touch. And then as soon as Georgia and Clemson get in the game and it starts rattling at the top of the entire infrastructure, the greatest thing Nick Saban has ever done is getting out in front of that in a way that will not be remembered on his legacy in any way. He got out so perfectly that right when it looked like all the advantages had slipped away from him, he put down his ego and said, I'll leave now. I'm the best. I don't have anything left to do here.
You mentioned Clemson.
Oh, the fucking come on, man. We knew what was happening with Alabama, and yes, they are being sarcastic.
So?
Yeah, he got out at the right time. For him, yeah. For I guess his quote unquote legacy, he got out.
Yeah. It wasn't tarnished.
It's like, but people aren't stupid, man. Like, I guess if he leaves and he does the Peyton Manning thing, where you just like do like commercials over and over again, you do broadcasts and all that shit. Yeah, I guess you can kind of write over like what exactly happened in a time period where all these dominating players went to your fucking school over and over and over again, with no seeming fucking no suspension of disbelief of like how these guys are getting here. Like there's no like, well, he's just the best coach. Hard to see that when you have all the great dominating like athletes. It was less about player, I think. I think it was more about athletes. Like his linemen would be like just bigger than the other team, bro. If I remember correctly, of watching Alabama play, it's like, what was the actual thing that Nick Saban was doing that was actually better than other college coaches, other than having the greatest athletes?
They're going to get into it. He had he never had the same coordinator like 2 years in a row or something. So what does that tell you? He had a hell of a stable of players.
Bro, that's trade secrets. Nobody knows how he did it.
Oh, they do.
Like you can have all the special plays you want, but when you hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, well, Derrick Henry's going to do Derrick Henry shit. So it's like you can run all the loop-de-loop fucking plays all you want. That guy's going to get the ball and he's going to fucking run over someone. Especially like with college kids at that point. Like so. Come on, what are we talking about here, man? Come on. He's such a great coach. Did he get to prove that, actually? No. All right, here we go.
it's happening to Dabo. Like, Nick avoided that because what you're talking about, Dabo was going through right now. He was considered one of the great coaches in the game, and now he's a guy who can't keep up with the game.
I don't know how he wins more in retirement than he won as a coach, but like the to get that ending where no one's going to remember that the whole thing caught up to him at the end.
That's why what he's done is so impressive, though, going off of Stugatz's comments about Dabo, because Dabo has the opportunity to reinvent himself the way that Saban had to do several times in his career. And right now, we'll see
you guys have a
Dabo
good
able
night.
to do that,
I gotta go to
but
bed.
Saban was.
Yeah, do your thing, man.
So hard. I mean,
Yes.
when George is in the game, it
Laters.
is so like it's such an unfair standard. Clemson was for so long.
Texas is in the game.
Dabo being in the money game made no sense. Clemson has never deserved to be in the money game.
I think something that makes Nick Saban even more impressive is he went through coordinators like it was nobody's business. He had like probably 11 coordinators while he was at Alabama, and he, no matter what, never skipped a beat. Like it was so impressive. And yeah, Dabo can't say that.
I assume like they're trying to make. If I had to guess, what the good old boys of college football and the marketing of it would want to make Nick Saban look like Denzel and fucking remember the Titans, where he's such a hard nosed team first guy that he wills these players to victory. Like no, you just have Derrick Henry, bro. Like you have Derrick Henry and an actual NFL sized line blocking for him against college kids. Like, okay.
Oh, he didn't tell him strong side, weak side?
Strong side.
Like Denzel told him?
Yeah, see, Nick Saban called a meeting. He got all the white players and black players to mesh and team up and work together as one unit, become best friends. And Ryan Gosling did a fruity little dance, and the team just bonded over it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick Saban. I saw something today. I was looking up something else. I was looking up Nick Saban for one of our videos for something else, or for the NIL video, and it says something where it's like, man, the art of recruiting is dead, man. It's like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Somebody shut him the fuck up. Put fucking tape over his mouth, bro. How fucking dare he say some shit like that? The recruiting is an art form, and you gotta have, skills to sit on mama's couch and tell about, how good your fucking kid is?
Yeah.
Shut up. Bullshit, bro.
Hey, man, if your boy don't come here, he ain't making it to the league.
You see why I love a movie like Blue Chips? You see why I love that fucking movie?
Yeah.
We're fuck, we gotta fucking pay to get these guys to get, Shaq over here.
He's like, I won't do it, and you won't win.
Exactly.
He starts doing it, he starts winning.
Hey, ma'am, I promise your kid there's the greatest education at Alabama University. Like, bullshit. Bull fucking
they
shit.
have I could be wrong, but I think Alabama's GPA threshold is 2.9 or 3.1.
So, a B, right?
Yeah.
Like a B.
Or even a low B, or C plus maybe.
Well, personally, I'm fuck grade required. Is one of the things where I'd agree with Bernie Sanders, where it's have state colleges just be free, straight up. You just go there if you want to. Just, an extra 4 years of high school, but it's a little more intricate. You get to choose your courses and all that shit. That's where I stay with it. But whatever. If you're gonna do grade requirements, let's not pretend athletes don't fucking smudge the numbers to get themselves into certain schools. Or
the coaches themselves will do it.
Yeah, well, they're both complicit. You know what I mean? Even in high school,
North Carolina had a Swahili class for all the football players and basketball players.
I'm saying at a high school to get into these colleges, to where the teachers in the high schools will definitely smudge grades to help the athletes out that they know are good, top recruits or whatever the fuck. It's it's all faulty from the beginning, man. And Nick Saban's Nick Saban's I was the best. Saban's I was the best at fucking taking advantage of the system, and now the system's changing. I'm out of here. The game. Then he's gonna do interviews like, oh, the game has changed, man. There used to be an art form to this. It's like what, slipping 50s into some kids' pockets? Like, was there an art form to that? Like, yeah. Like, come on, man. Trash. It's. I'm in such a pissed off mood right now. Like, it's all garbage, man. What are we doing here?
All right. So you want? Let's play the Dabo Swinney one.
You want to attack?
Yeah, it's quick. It's only like 3 minutes.
Let's make like it.
I do think there should be some changes from the portal standpoint. I think that,
he has the look of a man that's maybe he didn't know. Maybe he's just realizing, like, fuck, am I that good of a coach? Or was it strictly about my talent pool?
Yeah.
God damn, you fucking.
So listen to this criteria for players being able to move or not being able to move.
It's like, I'm white, I have a southern accent, I'm a good football coach, trust me. It's like, shut up. Come on. Anyways, here we go.
Again, I think right now a kid should be, if your coach leaves, your head coach, if he leaves or is fired, you ought to be able to go and play wherever you want. I think that's great. I think if you're a graduate, you ought to be able to go and be eligible right away. You come to college, you get a degree. And you've earned that right. I think you ought to be able to go and be eligible right away. But I think there just needs to be, a few tweaks. I think, first of all, that if you're not.
But by the way, those aren't the players these guys are looking for, right?
No.
Their best players are leaving as soon as they possibly can to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
So the guy who's a college graduate and a fifth-year senior guy, unless he maybe got injured some year or something like that.
Yeah, Jordan. The only way he's coming to your team is if he's a big-time receiver or a big-time quarterback in college ranks. Like he may not translate to the next level, but he's proven in this level in Division I, he is an upper echelon player.
Yes, which will make the coach look good.
Which is what happened in Notre Dame. Notre Dame has like a 6-year senior. They had a 6-year senior starting this past season. And I guarantee you, he wasn't there because he was a great guy and a great college student. He was there because he could fucking sling the ball.
Oh, I love it. All right, here we go.
Be a few tweaks. I think first of all that if you're not a graduate or your coach is not fired, you should have to sit a year. You should sit a year, get acclimated, because I think because right now we have no barriers, we have no reason for pause, we have no pain, no consequences, and so I think
there's not enough pain in the world for those poor kids. He needs them to lose a year of eligibility so he can sleep good at night, knowing his team's not being fucked over.
He used that stereotypical right-wing grifter narrative right there. He actually just used it, where it's like, well, welfare sucks. You can't have welfare because you need to understand pain. What Dan Crenshaw, the fucking eye patch motherfucker, where he's like, you need to understand sacrifice and pain. So giving them, helping them, actually fucks them over in the long run. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let them suffer so that they learn a lesson. That's what he's fucking saying, bro. He's saying that as a philosophy, like he thinks he's Denzel and Remember the Titans, bro. These motherfuckers think they're that actual guy. It's like, hey, man. Like, bro, if we evenly distribute the talent throughout the NCAA, let's just say Division I football, we somehow find some sort of calculator that evenly distributes the amount of talent from one team to the other, right? It's like, are you the best coach? Are you Dabo Swinney? Hey, Nick Saban, are you the best coach? That's the only way to find out. Honestly.
But Jordan, also, let me explain something. So a guy like Nick Saban. I don't know. I don't know too much about Sweeney. Maybe he has like a specialized expertise at some part. Fucking Nick Saban is a CEO type. Are you familiar with a CEO's head coach? Do you know what that means?
A CEO head coach?
Yeah.
Explain it to me.
A CEO head coach is like John Harbaugh with the Baltimore, where he's not an offensive expert, he's not a defensive expert. He manages egos basically and makes the big decisions.
He's a
But he
manager.
hires
Okay.
a D coordinator to run the defense and an offensive coordinator to run the offense, and he essentially has to live or die by that decision, the decision to hire that person, because that person is going to run that side of the ball.
Wait. So, wait. I didn't know this. So this guy's not even. He's not like calling play. He's not like Andy Reid with the fucking placard in front of his face.
No, yeah. Andy Reid's the opposite of Nick Saban.
Okay.
In a way, Andy Reid's like too heavy-handed, where he needs to put his faith in the defensive coach, because on the other side of the ball, that's where he lives.
Okay.
But obviously, like throughout the years, what differentiates you is you learning how to also like put your stamp on that side of the ball. Like this guy is you're gonna try to give insight and control basically what. Like that's why they start getting into schemes. So he probably understands a scheme that because he used to be a GM too with the Eagles. He was GM and coach, just like Belichick was with Patriots.
Okay. Yeah.
And Belichick was the opposite of Andy Reid. Belichick his fingerprints were all over the defense.
Yes.
And he hired minions like McDaniels and Bill O'Brien to run his offense.
Yeah.
But he would also he had Tom Brady too, but he would also give input and make big decisions on that side of the ball. So essentially that's what a CEO head coach is.
Okay.
So John Harbaugh is like the best example where like it works for him. He's not necessarily an offensive or defensive genius. He's more of this. They call it the CEO.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, but to go to your point, if Nick Saban had to rest on the laurels of being a good coach, could he do it on his expertise alone, or does he need to be this max recruiter?
I mean, that's kind of the question. If you're saying like he's playing the CEO role, right? And then the other video, and you said it as well about him interchanging fucking offensive coordinators or whatever. Every like he had like 11 different or something like that.
Yeah, they had
coordinators.
He had 11 different coordinators. Yeah, throughout the years in Alabama.
Well, it's like what's drawing coordinators to Alabama? Probably the talent. Probably the talent,
the players,
right?
They're going to coach. Yeah, the players are going to coach.
Now, what if we spread that talent out to all equally to all these different?
It would be a little harder to get these guys to work for him.
Yeah, because these coordinators might want to be head coaches themselves.
These coordinators want to be coaches themselves.
Exactly.
And they'll be like, "Hey, if I got as good a shot as you," he had a monopoly on the SEC and college football at large. He got first dibs on any 5-star recruit, 4-star recruit.
Yeah. Imagine like a guy who can get into a school where the state has something going on with like maybe like a boost year of like talented players that all belong to the state. Like maybe it's easier recruiting there to get them to go to play at your state rather than pulling from, pulling from Texas or Florida or fucking California, like just pulling players from all over the country. Instead, maybe they might favor their state.
Louisiana's like a running back safe haven, bro.
Well,
that's where all these badass running backs come out of.
Yeah, well, I'll take your word for it. I don't know.
And wide receivers too. Wide receivers, Odell Beckham, all these guys, bro. They come out of Louisiana.
What's his name? Is it Waddle for the Dolphins?
Yeah,
is he Louisiana?
I don't know where he's from. Tyrann Mathieu. Remember Tyrann Mathieu was with LSU?
Yes. Yeah, he was safety.
He was a Louisiana product.
Safety, right? He's a safety.
Yeah, safety, but
Yeah.
he was like a big time kick returner.
Okay.
That was what he was really known for. Like this guy was a man. He was Devin Hester in college.
These guys might be seeing the writing on the wall. Like we're making a lot out of this video. It's a shorter video. We're making a lot of it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's something like the idea I brought up before of like the Bernie Sanders idea of a state college being like free to go to, right? Imagine if kids had that. Plus the NIL fucking deals where they can get like fucking endorsements and all that shit to where they're not paying for college and they're pulling in money from these places.
Yeah.
Now that kind of applies with scholarship players, right? But there's no restrictions on the like scholarships. You have to keep your grades up. You have to do this. You have to do that in order to like keep your scholarship.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you lose it. In football, you can't leave after fucking a year.
You have to fucking make sure you don't get hurt either.
Yes.
If you're on the bubble, if you're not Todd Gurley, like when Todd Gurley got hurt, it's like, no, okay, Georgia's gonna do whatever they can to make sure he's good, because he is like, oh, you're a can't miss prospect.
Yeah.
But if you're the last guy we get a scholarship to, and we're like iffy on you, or we're like we can't say you're a sure thing, and you get hurt, man, it's just as bad. It's like you're fucked.
Yeah. Fuck. Let's let them I don't know, whine and cry about players having power. Yes, like I said before in the other video, where I'm like, I can see it being abused by some people, 100%. But
it's like, well, that's what life is, man. It's reactions and overreactions to.
Yeah.
You do something, then all right, the opposite is going to happen. And it's probably going to be twice or tenfold what your reaction was to compensate for however long you were doing something.
Yeah.
And this guy, but I'm telling you, this guy from the beginning, he's like, nah, they can't be paid. And he was using that Republican language, like, nah, they got to learn that stuff. They got to earn it. Like, you think they're not earning it right now, dude?
As they're putting their future body, even if they don't play professionally, they're still putting their future bodies on the line at the very least. For you, bro, for your fucking orange fucking jumpsuit.
And this guy's bro. If I just had to guess, how much did Dabo Swinney make last year? If I had to guess, and that's another thing where it's like, it used to be easy money, not easy money. Like, I mean, kind of hyperbolic, not easy money, but he was guaranteed a certain recruiting class.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And now Dabo Swinney makes $11.5 million a year.
Oh.
And he has a 10-year. He signed a 10-year extension in September of 2022 that runs through 2031.
For $10 million a year.
11.5 million.
11.5 a year. So he's like $100 millionaire in 10 years.
Yes.
Oh God, for college football. Oh God, I know it generates enough.
And if he sucks, Jordan, and he gets fired, he keeps the money.
He has his own Bobby Bonilla day. Okay.
Yeah, he has his own But honestly, these college teams make more money than the MLB. Let's be honest.
Bro,
a lot more money in college football.
Hey man,
with these big schools, yeah.
It's about education, Anthony. Clearly, this is all about education. We need Dabo Swinney on our coaching staff for the football team for education purposes.
What do you say, buddy?
So when we start limiting years or giving specific rules to players, or saying, "Hey, man, you can't go to the NFL after a year. If you join us, you got to stay for at least 3 years." We got to put these rules in place for education. And Dabo Swinney getting $11.5 million a year is about the education of the players. Duh. Like we're not stupid. Sorry, college coaches. We're not dumb. Sorry, bro. You can say it's about will and determination all you fucking want. But like, sorry.
Well, it's funny, bro. It's like so. Let me paint this scenario to you. He's saying that it's about what sacrifice and my bad. Can I please hear his own words? I need to hear his own words.
It's might be right here. I'll just play it.
I think there just needs to be, a few tweaks. I think first of all that if you're not a graduate or your coach is not fired, you should have to sit a year. You should sit a year, get acclimated, because I think if that was because right now we have no barriers, we have no reason for pause, we have no pain, no consequences, and so I think if a kid
that's it right there. No pain, no consequences. You got to learn how to do it the hard way. You'll learn the hard way. If you
No pain. Oh my god.
If you don't do anything wrong, but you just want to switch schools, guess what? You need to feel some pain. Feel some pain and feel some consequences for it. Like what? What if your coach is a dickhead? What if you're better than your coach realizes and you want to go to a smaller school in order to like shine more for your own NFL prospects or something?
You know who that happened to, and that poor fuck had to wait a year? Russell Wilson.
Really?
He was at NC State, and they wanted to make him a corner.
Really?
And he was like, yo, he transferred, and Wisconsin's like, yo, we'll let you compete for the job. And he won the job, and they went to a bowl game. And that's how he got drafted by the Seahawks.
And he has and basically a Hall of Fame career.
Borderline. It was a sure lock Hall of Fame career. Now it's a little borderline
because of the Denver shit.
Yeah.
Now he's released, man.
Either way, he's made over $200 million. So either way.
Yeah, and he got Sierra. He's chilling.
He's winning.
He's doing fine, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like come on, man. This is trickery. This is actually like witchcraft they're trying to do, bro. You in your orange fucking everything. Like, come on, bro. Don't lie to us.
Okay, so this is what I want to say. He's using those those worn out cliches to basically whine that a competitive balance needs to be put. But he's the same guy that was eating off these fucking poor kids to get that contract.
Exactly.
By abusing the balance that existed before the portal and the NILs.
Like if he was at a prior school, right, and then he found better pastures at Clemson, it's like, well, what do we call that? Is that okay? Should you sit out a fucking year for that? Like Dabo Swinney, should you?
No, Jordan. Tell this fuck, hey, you gotta get acclimated with no salary. Let's see how he like.
Yo, hey man, sit out. Like, yeah, get acclimated.
Man, you left the kids behind.
Exactly.
There's everything.
And those kids don't count, Anthony, because they're not 5-star recruits like you get at Clemson. So whatever school he left from, those kids don't matter. It's all good. I don't care if he came from fucking high school, man. Like this is it's a business, but he's trying to pretend it's not a business. He's trying to pretend it's Remember the fucking Titans. When it's not, man. It's not that. It is a business. And you did something. You did something. Or it could have been his coaching, right? To where you start winning. And then once you start winning, you can pull in recruits because you're on national TV every fucking day. And those guys can build their names off of that, right? But who knows what his origins were, as far as like how'd you get Clemson back in the fold? Was it your coaching? Was it your play calling? What was it? Because if it's something like boosters paying fucking players like illegally back then, and it's like your shit's on shaky fucking ground. So what are we doing here? That's another story, I guess. Let's let him finish, I guess. Here we go.
It had to sit a year. Again, you can go anywhere you want, anytime. You don't need anybody's permission. But if your coach is not fired or left, or you're not a graduate, you sit a year. And then guess what? Upon graduation, you get that year back. And if you're this big-time superstar, you're not going to need that extra year anyway, right? So, but
like this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, if you're that good, then like, dude, there's so much that goes into athletics. There's so much that goes into fucking like injuries that can happen. Like to just write it off as it's like if you're that good anyways, you just be this. It won't hurt you. Because if you're just that good, like, well, some people fucking tear ligaments in their fucking knees, man. Like, this guy's he's full of shit, bro. This is some old ball coach fucking bullshit. But here we go.
Incentivize graduation, which is what we should be about.
It's it's about it's about education.
And I think that would, if there was just a little bit of
if it was about education, they'd pay teachers $11.5 fucking million. But it's not. Not be stupid. He's pretending, bro. Whatever. Here we go. God damn.
Pause. It would.
I can't calculate.
Cut back on some of these hasty
the levels of stupidity
that kids make.
That are in sports
just
and entertainment and all of it.
And now all of a sudden, maybe that kid's like, that's it, a season. And they push through. And 9 times out of 10, man, it works out for them. But, again, there's lots of opportunity. But I think, number one, it would stop tampering. Because you got all this tampering going on out there because now there's this whole new pool of recruits, right? It's not just high school kids anymore or graduates or junior college guys. It's freshmen. It's mid-year enrollees. It's sophomores, and that's not good. It's not healthy. It's not good for the game. It's not good for anybody. And so,
it's not good for you.
Cut out the tampering, number one. And again, I think it would.
Tampering in college sports with high-profile athletes and high-profile fucking programs and high-profile fucking coaches. And he's talking about tampering now. Like, come on, man. This is bullshit. It's actual bullshit. He's talking about tampering. It's like, well, what do you think fucking happens, man? Did anyone pay attention to the fucking Louisville basketball team with Rick Pitino? And like using like I think they use like school fucking funds to pay for like strippers and fucking prostitutes and shit like that for the fucking players, for new recruits and all that shit. Like, that actually happened. That should be one of the biggest scandals ever. But apparently it disappeared. And now we're hearing this, like, we don't know any of that actually happening. Like, come on, man. Like, not stupid. All right, here we go.
It's not
Pretend
healthy.
I'm stupid.
It's not good for the game. It's not good for anybody. And so, it would cut out the tampering. Number
tampering.
One. And again, I think it would protect the high school recruits. It would protect high school recruiting a little bit. Because, again, you got a lot of these high school kids that aren't getting opportunities. So, if coach leaves or is fired, hey, you go. You're eligible. No problem. And I think that makes everybody have to make good decisions there.
Literally see advertisements pop up behind his fucking head.
Too. I think it works both ways. And I think, if you're not a graduate or your coach isn't gone, you can go, but you sit. Now there's just a little bit of consequence that now all of a sudden you got to really want to do that. And what's wrong with a little bit of development? What's wrong with a little bit of time? Like we all want this microwave. Like we need to have a crock pot mentality.
Sorry to tell you, Dabo, but like, hey, man, there's people who are actually like struggling financially with their families to where they don't have time. Sorry, bro. Like, hey, just wait a year. Like, yeah, yo, mom, just wait a year, man. Listen, we'll get there. Just wait a year, mom. You're good. Just wait a year. Dabo said wait a year, so let's wait a year. You'll be good. Dabo's going to take care of us. Oh, wait. Under the rules that he cares about, that would be illegal if he helped you out. And clearly, like, it'd be illegal for me to take care of you, too. Under apparently Dabo's rules. if he's for the or against the NIL thing, right? He would be against some player taking care of their parents, right? But how do you wait? But wait a minute. Let's say Dabo is for the NIL, but you take a year off to switch schools because maybe the program isn't right for you as an athlete, right? Maybe the system isn't right for you, or the coach isn't right for you, or the campus isn't right for you, or the other players on your team aren't right for you, or whatever your reason is. It's like, and you want to switch schools in order to like better succeed as an athlete. But let's say NIL is there for that. It's like he's saying, hurt your brand and sit out a year to where maybe Nike won't pay you or Samsung or whatever the fuck the advertisement is. Maybe they don't pay you because you've been sitting out for a fucking year.
Damn, my phone died.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So, like, sorry. Like, hey, what's the harm of staying out of here? Like, maybe these kids actually rely on this shit.
Yeah.
If they're gonna look at, like, let's say they do get advertisement money, and it's all about, like, hey man, you score 20 touchdowns. That's a bonus for extra money to pay for you and your family. But if you switch schools because the system isn't allowing you to get 20 touchdowns, you got to sit out a year, according to Dabo. That's what he wants. Sit out a fucking year. Like, come on, man. All right, there we go. Let's finish this shit.
Like, right, the best meals come from that crock pot when you leave at about 8 in the morning. Mama's got some food in the crock, and you're like, woo, that's gonna be good when I get home about 6, right?
What?
Don't give me no fucking cliches. Yo, you hear this guy?
Let me tell you about the fried chicken over here. It's like, yeah, cringy fuck.
Cringe fuck, dude.
I wish I could tell you some of the not I guess you call them recruiting experiences I've had, where it's like, oh god, it's kind of cringy, just because the way I am. Like, I just notice how cringy it is. He's kind of doing that a little bit. Yeah, you know, the crock pot and the jambalaya and the. It's like, shut up, shut the fuck up, bro. Here we go.
A bit of time, you know, like we all want this microwave. You know, like we need to have a crock pot mentality. Like, right, the best meals come from that crock pot when you leave at about 8 in the morning. And Mama's got some food in the crock, and you're like, woo, that's gonna be good when I get home about 6, right? But everybody wants it in the microwave, and that's usually not the best meals when you just heat up. You know, that's how everybody wants it to be, but that's just what I think. So, and I'm passionate about the high school kids and the high school recruiting and the development.
Prove it.
But, you know, what do I know? I don't know. That's what I think.
And what do you know? What do you know when the talent is evenly dispersed? What do you know, Dabo Swinney?
No, it's like, but that's a great point. That's a great point you just made. Like, what? Like, how does it change when their lives are not in your hands anymore? Do you lose a sense of like purpose and meaning that was arbitrary to begin with? Like, is that what Nick Saban said? These guys don't view me as a god anymore. I'm just a coach now.
Well, they lose the recruiting battle to the player itself. The player ends up winning the recruiting battle because they get to choose where they want to go. And if they're that big of a star, they make advertisement money along with it.
So now, instead of the players conforming to the coaches had to conform to the players. In a sense.
In a way, yes.
That's why Dan Lebertar brought up he didn't know how he can't change his ways. To Nick Saban.
He doesn't know anything.
Nick Saban put his hands up and said, "I give up."
Well, here's the thing. Okay, by the way, like Coach K, someone like Coach K, right? He kind of got out before any of this popped off.
He got out, I think, as soon as it started.
Well, there you go. But they're still getting recruits at Duke. They are.
Yeah. They just got a #1 recruit. and he's got like the highest NIL deal of his class.
There you go. There's still a prestige there with certain. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen because there's 100% a thing. Like Kentucky's still going to pull players, right? They're still going to get some of the top recruits. But will it even out to where like some old school shit where you?
Calipari, he just pulled in the best, the best recruiting class last year, but at the end of 2023, March Madness. They're like, oh, Cali, he's got a whole new crop of like 5 stars.
Well, this begs the question of, well, honestly, like they're not all gonna get fucking advertisement money, man. They're not all gonna get that. Not all the recruits are gonna get that. They're not all gonna pop up in fucking commercials. At least at first, right?
Yeah.
If they do, like if they do make it like more evenly, like more people in it, it'll be because of performance in the NCAA, which means they'd have to like earn their advertisement money, if I had to guess. But at a high school, like not like it's gonna be a small percentage of people that actually get those advertisement fucking things. So I think it's still a rat race. It would still be, but they don't even like that, man.
But I feel he's saying this now because he was at the upper echelon of recruiting, and the returns are less than now.
Nah, bro, there was an art to it, and he figured it out.
Yeah, okay.
He's a really good talker.
I'm sure there is, in their sick, demented way, I'm sure there is an art to it. I'm sure there is, like, because even then it's still competitive. It's not like, yeah, you're Clemson, but you can still lose to Texas or these other guys.
Yeah, say the N-word. You might lose a recruit.
Yeah, you might lose a couple. Also, Levitar made a point about Alabama, where he said Alabama is not like it's not a destination spot outside of the football program. Who the fuck wants to live in Tuscaloosa? You know what I mean? Like, as far as that's concerned, it's now become a vibe, but it's still not as attractive as going to USC, going to Texas, going to the Gators, going to Miami.
Yep.
And you could say it's even worse for Clemson.
Yeah.
That's just in the Carolinas. Like, bro, nobody trying to go to Carolinas.
They rely on prestige. That's their thing. UNC. That's basketball too.
Recency bias too.
Yeah.
Well, all right, he strung up a little run, and now also he can't capitalize on what he's strung up because now the rules have changed, and he's like, yo, Nick, this ain't fair. Nick had more years than I did. It's very a lot of self-preservation going on.
Seems like because his reasoning and his excuses and his idea of like what to change about it do not hold up to me.
No.
They mentally do not hold up for me. So it seems like some sort of funny business of why he's on a fucking podium right now saying all of this. It's clearly it's got to be self-motivated, or unless he's you have to be that much of a Denzel from Remember the Titans like character to where you thinking like you're actually like, we need to force these kids into the classroom, and like the good old ball coach guy. Like, it would have to be that. But, like, do we see that from this guy? Is that reality for him? Is he doing that with students? If Trevor Lawrence missed an exam, is he going to bench him for that game, for the championship game? Would Dabo Swinney do that?
To be fair, that I don't know, but I am assuming probably not.
I would assume not either, man. But you know, I'll leave room, whatever. I'll leave room about it. I'm just very over the top suspicious, especially when you're so much against a player's freedom of movement when they're there for the sports. That's the thing about it, bro. A lot of these kids that are moving around schools like that, they're there for the sports. They're not there for the education.
No.
They're there for the sports, so it's like kind of got to let them do like free agency sports shit.
If we're moving from school to school, it's like I have a good chance of going to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. They do this in high school already. People move from school to school in high school.
Yeah.
To make it to a big time program. Kevin Durant went to like fucking 3 different fucking high schools, man. I wouldn't dream of doing that. I'm pretty sure he went to like 3 different fucking high schools.
That's rough.
Pretty sure.
Jesus.
My cousin, who's not Kevin Durant.
The prep school, the graduate is like a graduates for high school.
Yeah, he went to several different high schools, man. And now imagine like someone who's went to like Oak Hill, right? Some sort of like major basketball, St. Patrick's, Monteverde, whatever it's called, the Ben Simmons fucking school. Like, imagine that. Like, kids are bouncing around schools all the fucking time, man. It's like they're gonna do it they're gonna do it in college now. Okay, and get paid while they do it. And guys like this are fucking wrecked. It is what it is. Any last words? Very close.
No, yeah.
All right. So there's our reaction to Lebitard talking about fucking Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney in his own words.
As he's sexually awkwardly holding a stick.
As he's stroking his Willy Wonka cane. Yeah. All right. Enjoy it.